Hi guys, welcome to my first video tutorial. This is going to be a video showing you how I use Sibelius, how to open it, how to start a new score, and all the basics that can get you going when it comes to composing using this software. For those of you who don't know, Sibelius is a music notation software. You can buy it online through their website, and they have lots of different add-ons that go along with it. They also offer student discounts, so if any of you are students and that interests you, I'll pop a link in the description below, and I'll also pop a link in the handbook on my website. So let's get going. So this is the opening screen that you see when you open up Sibelius. There are so many different score presets available when you're opening a new file, which you can have an explore through by scrolling through here. But for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm going to select a blank score. This next page has lots of different options for designing your score. We'll start with the instrument, so clicking this Change Instruments button over here opens up the dialog box containing the Sibelius instruments available with your software. You can search for instruments using the search feature up here, so if we search for a piano, for example, it will take us to the piano down here. Or you can just browse through the different families of instruments to find the one that you would like. As you can see, there's lots of different instruments available, but this will depend on which version of Sibelius sounds you have with your version of Sibelius. So to add instruments to your score, you can use the Add Score button up here, or you can double click the instrument. You can also move the instrument, so with piano, because we've got piano A and B, I'll select both of them. So you can move them up or move them down in your score, and you can also delete them using this button here. Your instruments will appear in the preview section of your score settings page once you click the OK button, and we can see this over here. The next option available is the time signature settings. You can choose a preset time signature from these, or using the other button, you can select any of these preset time signatures or create your own using these drop-down menus over here. For the purpose of this, I'm just going to select a simple 4/4 time signature as we already have selected. Scrolling down from here, we'll see that the next main option is the key signature setup. You can select your desired key signature by using the drop-down menu to navigate between the major sharp, major flat, minor sharp and minor flat keys, and the keys with no signature. For the purpose of this, I'm just going to select no key. The final setting on this page gives you the option to add a title to your piece along with a composer name and other text options. So if we just pop in example here, we'll see how these appear on the score. We are finished with this page now. We've popped all our settings in. So if we hit the create button down in the bottom here, we'll have a look at what our score looks like. Once your score is open, these tabs at the top will allow you to make further adjustments to your score. The instrument dialog box can be reopened again by using this Add or Remove Instruments button at the top, or using the shortcut on the keyboard, the letter I. Under the Notations tab up here, there are options for changing the clef, key signature, time signature, and bar lines. These first three dialog boxes can also be opened using the following keyboard shortcuts: Q for clef, K for key signature, and T for time signature. Next along under the same Notations tab are the options for inserting lines, including slurs, crescendos, and decrescendos, followed by the option for inserting symbols, including codas and various different types of mordents and turns. These can also be opened using the shortcuts L for line and Z for symbol on your keyboard. The next tab is text, where you can add different styles of text, including expressions, techniques, and tempo marks. After selecting the type of text which you would like to use and clicking on the stave where you would like it to be inserted, right-click will bring up a menu offering different preset text options for that style. For example, under this expressions menu, we can find the forte expression here. There are also keyboard shortcuts available for inserting these different styles of text. Control E will bring the cursor up to allow you to insert an expression. Using Control T, we can insert a technique. And using Control Alt T and a right click, we can see all of these different tempo options. There are keyboard shortcuts available for adding and editing bars. So to add a bar at the end of your score, Control B will do this. If you want to add a bar in the middle of your score instead of at the end, Control Shift and B will do this for you. In order to delete bars permanently, rather than just removing their contents, you have to press the Control button whilst clicking the bars you wish to delete before using the backspace button. You can delete multiple bars using this method by again using the Control button and clicking the bar, and using the Shift button to expand your selection wider before using the backspace button. Under the View tab, you can find a selection of useful tools called panels. As you can see, I'm already using the keypad panel. It comes up automatically on my Sibelius when I open it. I use it to change note values and many other options whilst inputting notes into Sibelius. I also use the Transport panel, which has all of the same options as you would find underneath the Play tab up here. I just find it more accessible to use it in a panel. And the final one that I use often is the Mixer panel. This can be used to adjust the volume, the master volume of Sibelius, as well as mixing the other volumes of the other instruments individually. There is also a keyboard shortcut for this, which is M. There are a variety of different ways to input notes into Sibelius. You can use letters on your keyboard, which correspond to the notes. For example, the letter A will give us the note A. You can also use the numerical keypad on your keyboard to change the note values and other options which correspond to the keypad down here. As you will see, the buttons will be the same shape in the same order, and those buttons on your keypad on your computer will correspond to these buttons here on the screen. You can also use the up and down arrows to move notes on the stave, which I find is quite a useful way of editing music if I accidentally input a note wrong. You can also use the mouse to input notes into Sibelius by selecting a note value down here on the keypad and using the blue cursor to place the note where you would like it. Remembering to click this little black mouse over here to stop your mouse from being in your editing mode. You can use your mouse to drag these notes up and down in case you've clicked in the wrong place, and as another method of adjusting the pitch of the notes you've entered. The main method which I use for inputting in Sibelius is using a MIDI instrument, so I use my MIDI keyboard to input notes. This can be set up using the Input Devices button, which you can find under the Note Input tab over here on the left. So as you can see, my keyboard is plugged into my laptop and not being recognised by Sibelius. So we use the Find New Input Devices button down here, where the keyboard will appear in the Input Devices section. Making sure that it's ticked and selected, you can test the keyboard by pressing the keys. It's still not coming up, so I usually remedy this by unticking the box and reticking it. Testing again, and you can see over here that that green bar is coming up, meaning that Sibelius is recognising my keyboard, and this input method should now work. Finally, Sibelius has a variety of different exporting features which you can find under the File tab in the Export section. The main exporting features which I use are audio and PDF features, which I use to create scores, create parts and audio for those parts, so they are easy to learn and easy to listen to. I hope you have found this lesson useful. All of the shortcuts that I have used, I have taken from the Sibelius Reference Guide PDF. You can find these on pages 428 to 434. If you would like to have a look at some of the other shortcuts they have, there are loads of them available. I just haven't been able to incorporate all of them into this starter tutorial. I will put a link to the PDF in the description below this video, as well as in the handbook that goes along with this lesson. Thank you for watching.